Thanks again for choosing us. I am Beverly Broohm. We take a look at the details now. Stabilizing the global economy, banking system, and raising debt of developing countries. These are the issues set to dominate the annual World Bank IMF Spring Meeting, which is set to formally open in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. Now, speaking ahead of the meeting, Managing Director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, said about 15% of low-income countries are already in debt distress, and another 45% face high risk of debt vulnerabilities. Let's listen to her.
I want to make a double plea on their behalf. Help them handle the burden of debt, which has made life in this country so much harder because of multiple shocks in the last years. And secondly, help ensure that the IMF continues to be in a position to support them in the years ahead. Let me start with debt. About 15% of low-income countries are in debt distress, an additional 45% are near it. About a quarter of emerging market economies are at high risk, facing default-like borrowing costs. And this has raised a legitimate concern about the potential wave of debt restructuring cases.
Meanwhile, senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast Business School, Seyram Kawo, is calling on Ghana's economic management team to show more commitment in securing a deal from the International Monetary Fund.
Ghana needs to go back to the IMF and get a member of the IMF board that are from some of these countries to talk to the power brokers to ensure that we get this deal successfully. We don't just have to sit back and tell ourselves that, oh, they have pleaded with them, so they are going to accept what they have said. That might not be the situation. We need to be more strategic in whatever we do. And so going back to ask the board members, and in fact, by this time, we should have even contacted every board member of the IMF, telling them our plans and getting their views and incorporating it into whatever that we are doing. The backroom maneuvers, the backroom negotiations and strategies are very keen, and we shouldn't leave any stone unturned when we want to get this particular deal, which is very critical to the development of our country, Ghana. From where I'm sitting and what we have seen, that all the conditions that have been set out in terms of the domestic revenue mobilization, when Parliament has passed the bill, there is a lot of kickbacks on this particular issue where industry is not buying into it. The consultative meeting that needs to be heard is not done. And so for now, we don't know whether the president has assented his signature to it, making it into law, because that would be required as evidence. Then we also have to convince the G20 countries, that's the Paris Club, to give us some firm assurance that they are ready to help us out. Then we have to go back to China and get a deal from China as well, so that we can present all these things to the board. It is possible when you look at the pronouncement by the country director of IMF in Ghana, in Africa, and then the IMF executive directors themselves, they are committed to it. But it's not just going to come on a silver platter. It's going to take some time for us to get it. You know, last year when this issue came up, we said that it is not likely that Ghana will get it in the next quarter. Yeah. And so the quarter has ended. So roughly we should be targeting this quarter somewhere in June or August for us to get the deal going through.
Well, our man George Weafe is in Washington, D.C., attending the World Bank IMF Spring Meeting. that would be happening tomorrow. We'll definitely bring you more on that subsequently. Now, Easter is normally a time for traveling and merrymaking. Even though it's a religious ceremony, the celebration has been seen as a major avenue to boost tourism across the country. One of the major stakeholders in the tourism industry is the Ghana Hotels Association. Let's go on phone now and speak to its president, Dr. Edward Akanyamike. Thank you so much, Edward, for your time there. We know Easter has become an important season for your members until recently when COVID-19 came through, that saw a sort of low records coming in there. Tell us how things are picking up with this Easter.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and let me say Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too.
Thank you. Well, the story is far, far better than about 2 years ago, also when COVID struck. By God's grace, the business environment with regards to patronage has improved, and it's seen in our feedback, the feedback we get from our members. And this year's Easter in Kowu, for instance, we have received feedback that business has been quite good.
But do you see Ghana taking advantage of the season to promote domestic tourism?
Oh yes, oh yes. You know, I have said it somewhere that the Easter in Kowu model is one excellent model for domestic tourism. And if we could replicate that in all parts of Ghana, it will really help us a lot. And I believe that that's what is going on. Because basically, the whole tourism concept is about identifying a destination, creating that attraction, and making sure that there's access, and there's amenities, the security issues, safety issues. Once those things are provided for, you get people flowing to the place. And so you create that need. I mean, Easter in Kowu has become more like an annual ritual, if I should put it that way, where people look forward to it. Okay, so if you could create the same thing, similar things across the country. Now the masquerade carnival in the Western region, Sakrade, is becoming another one which people look up to. So you can imagine if we do this across the country, and these things occur at different times of the year, it will be a very big boost in the domestic tourism. So I believe that the Ghana Tourism Authority and the ministry are really getting it right in some of these destinations. I think if they promote it and push it in other regions, the cumulative effect will be very good for the economy.
But there has been some concerns that during seasons like this, hotel prices shoots up. What is accounting for this?
My dear, you see, when it comes to such festivities, I think that we should begin to identify tour operators and operators in the industry who are able to give very competitive prices and rates. Because when you wait the last minute, then the concept of demand and supply sets in. And once the demand goes very high, then you know the cost will certainly also go high. Okay, so the simple advice I'll give is that we should plan some of these things with the tour operators. There are a lot of tour operators who are doing very, very well in this regard, and they provide very competitive rates. But if you, like I said, if you wait the last minute and you have more people looking for accommodation, hoteliers are also business people. So for that short period, some may take advantage, which is not bad in itself, but it's just to take advantage of that season. So that's very normal when it comes to any business operation. Hoteliers also take advantage of that.
We'll leave it here. Thank you so much. Dr. Edward Akanyamike is the president of the Ghana Hotels Association. Now, away from that, interest rates rose marginally as the government recorded a slightly oversubscription of its Treasury bill sales. According to the latest auction by the Bank of Ghana, the rising rate is in tandem with the recent policy rate increase by the central bank. The following report has more.
The auction results show that the yield on the 91-day T-bill went up by 0.31% to 19.69%, whilst that of the 182-day T-bill increased to 22.24% from 21.85% the previous week. The rate on the 364-day T-bill also surged to 26.95%. Some analysts have described the recent increase in the interest rate on the Treasury market as not surprising because the current rate do not match the prevailing macroeconomic condition. The policy rate is presently going for 29.5%, while average lending rate hover around 38%. Meanwhile, the government recorded a marginal 6.16% oversubscription of the T-bill sale to the tune of 1.88 billion cedis. It, however, accepted 1.85 billion cedis, more than the targeted amount of 1.76 billion Ghana cedis. Chunk of the bids came from the 91-day T-bills. The government accepted all the bids from the 91-day and the 182-day T-bills. 1.293 billion Ghana cedis and 422 million cedis were obtained from these instruments. However, it accepted 140 million Ghana cedis out of the 167 million tendered for the one-year bill.
You're still watching Business Live here on the Joy News channel with me, Beverly Broohm. We take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Please stay with us. Hello and welcome. This is Business Live with me, Beverly Broohm. We take a look at some other stories now. And the State Insurance Company says it will collaborate with the National Insurance Commission to deepen education on insurance coverage in order to boost its penetration. Insurance in Ghana is currently below 2%, a situation some industry players have described as worrying. Now, speaking on the executive lounge on Joy News, area manager of Accra at SIC, Adelaide Fiavo, stated that her outfit will be leveraging its workshop to introduce innovative ways to enhance education on insurance coverage.
Insurance penetration has been low since below 1% in 2009. It has come up now. Currently a little below 2%, but as an insurance industry, like you said, it's challenging, but we are up to the task, and we are in collaboration with NIC. We are educating the public, and in our own way, we are also marketing. We organize storms to educate the people. And as you know, SIC is a big company. We have 46 outlets and with over 600 agents. With that, we are making some inroads in terms of currently also we are introducing what we call the Campus Secure, which is very attractive to the millennials. Okay. And so somehow we are coming gradually. The insurance industry should be able to make milestones in terms of the penetration. Okay. Yes, so far I think we are making some efforts, and hopefully we'll be able to get the insurance public to stem up.
Now, the Tema region of the Electricity Company of Ghana has embarked on a swap as part of measures to help account for power customers are using illegally, aside of other challenges. Of the 99 customers visited at Spintex in the Nungwa district of the region, the power distributor detected 48 illegal connections, which included meter bypass, meter tampering, among others, over a 2-day period. Our correspondent Kwame Yanka has more in the following report.
Tema region of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, led by the Revenue Protection Unit, is leaving no stone unturned to recover 10.91 gigawatt hours of power, which translates into 11.5 million Ghana cedis this year. This year's figure is slightly higher than that of 2022, which stood at 10.20 gigawatt hours, translating into about 10.9 million Ghana cedis. The exercise by the region forms part of a national revenue mobilization approach to reduce losses. Revenue Protection Manager for ECG, Tema Region, Zita Che Jenfi, tells Joyce Business the exercise had personnel divided into 9 teams visiting homes, shops, and other places where power is used.
The Tema region, we have decided to embark on this visibility project because we realize that a lot of leakages are in the system, and we also have realized that we have meters that we need to check. We are checking to find out the integrity of the meters and possible anomalies that can be corrected. Yes, we have 9 teams on the ground as I speak. The team I joined, we have been able to detect 1 meter tampering, 1 bypass, and a few anomalies, billing anomalies that we have asked the customers to come to the office for us to regularize.
Customers have been issued with notices, but ECG's next line of action will depend on how it pans out. According to Zita Che Jenfi, the Revenue Protection Unit is mandated to visit customers and identify leakages.
Definitely they will have to come, and then other penalties also follow. There are times that we had to pursue them in conjunction with our legal team. So it depends on how the whole thing goes after they have reported at the office. Per activities, revenue protection, we are mandated to visit every place and identify the leakages. And so per activities, every time we move out, we catch people. There are times that you see a sharp increase. There are times it is normal. There are times where you see that there's a decrease. It depends on the type of illegality. We don't have a constant one that every time it is increasing. It is dynamic.
Zita Che Jenfi wonders why customers allow electricians to connect power for them illegally, only to pay later, apart from penal actions they will be subjected to.
Now, the Ghana Stock Exchange recorded a positive growth for the month of March at more than 10% as compared to the previous month. Now, strong gains in some share prices saw the GSE Composite Index increase by 14% in March compared to the month of February, bringing the year-to-date gain to 12.33%. The following report has more.
According to the March 2023 market report, the continued rally of the Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index was underpinned by dividend announcements from some listed companies and investors seeking to diversify their holdings. Volumes and values traded were up significantly by 2,730% and 588% respectively over the previous month, mostly due to the block trades in MTN Ghana shares. Total Energies recorded 39.82%, MTN Ghana with 35.87%, Unilever with 33.78%, and Guinness Ghana Breweries Limited recorded 9.49%. On the other hand, the Ghana Stock Exchange fixed income market closed March 2023 with a volume traded at 5.57 billion, a decline of 39.26% and 80.18% respectively over the previous months and same period in 2022 numbers. Yields on short-term government securities came down significantly during the month. The 91-day Treasury bill ended the month at 19.39% from 35.55% at the beginning of March 2023. The new government of Ghana bonds witnessed thin trading during its first full month post-domestic debt exchange program.
And that's how we end the holiday edition of Business Live here on the Joy News channel with me, Beverly Broohm. We have more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Enjoy the rest of our programs.